Welcome back. It's conclusion time.
It's conclusion time. Y'all should be excited. As excited as he is, because this means we are wrapping up our TEEEC essay. Like, it's almost done. And then we're going to spend tomorrow, we're going to come back and we're going to just revise and edit. I'm going to give you a checklist. It's going to be like super awesome. And then we're going to look, yep, see? And then we're going to look at how awesome. Did y'all notice that how we finally changed clothes? I mean, what is it with boys?
Oh, I just took my sweatshirt off.
I was going to say, you went from a
Kentucky sweatshirt off to my Kentucky shirt.
Kentucky sweatshirt to Kentucky t-shirt?
Yeah.
I'm born and raised in Kentucky. I believe blue. Although I love Georgia. Okay. Well, so you didn't actually change clothes?
No.
Okay, we need to work on that. If anybody has tips on how to get moms, to get boys to change clothes on a regular basis.
Okay,
also,
okay, that's good.
Okay, back to the conclusion. Okay, so how do we write a conclusion? All right, so we write a conclusion. Please.
Use a strategy.
Please, a strategy. Yeah. Don't repeat what you said in your introduction. Don't repeat your topic sentence or your thesis statement. And for crying out loud, please don't say, and that's why the new guidelines are not helping the students. Because it makes me fall asleep, and then while I'm sleeping, I'm crying because my heart is so broken from people using. I know, it's an emotional situation when that happens. I'm glad Hallie understands me. So when you write a conclusion, if you don't want to make people like me cry, then you really want to synthesize and strategize, okay? I don't use the word summary. Teachers use the word summary. The reason I don't use the word summary is because then I feel like kids just repeat everything they just said. When teachers say, okay, summarize your paper and your conclusion, then they said, okay, and then they just repeat their main points of every paragraph. And I'm like, well, that was boring because I just read that. And unless you're writing like a doctoral dissertation, I remember everything you said. Your paper is only like, here's Hadley's paper so far. That's it. So I haven't forgotten anything he said. You don't need to repeat things, okay, people? All right, so what are my words again? We're going to synthesize and strategize. Synthesize means you just bring it all together. Like, what's something you can say that really illustrates the point you're trying to make? You could return to one of your strongest points. You could pull out all your ideas, but in a paraphrased kind of way, you know? So we're gonna read his paper real quick. Okay. You want to read it?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it. Hallie, read it.
Do you have pizza, chicken fingers, and boxed potatoes for your school lunch? The author of the first article argues that despite the new guidelines, the food is still the same. The author of the second article argues that the food has changed as a result of the new guidelines. However, the new guidelines do not help students because they are still getting the same portion sizes and foods. In the first article, it explains the author's point of view. The author describes another problem with the new guidelines is the portion sizes. This shows that larger kids are getting the same amount of food as smaller, less active people. For example, the text says a 220-pound high school football player doing a 2-a-day practices is getting the same amount of food as smaller children or children who are not as active. This shows the authors frustrated because their children come home and search for junk food because they're still hungry. This is not fair.
Ooh, deep. Keep going.
And additionally, the author states the next problem by writing, children are still eating chicken nuggets, fish sticks, and pizza every month. This shows that they have non-healthy foods despite the new guidelines. The author is tired of the same non-healthy foods because she says, sadly, it seems the new guidelines have not made much of a difference. As a result, the author pleads with the schools to make more changes. However, the author from Article 2 disagrees. The author says that they are getting more healthy foods at schools. The author of Article 2 also says no more processed chicken fingers, pizza, and sugary chocolate milk. This shows that the author thinks these foods are gone. On the other hand, the author from Article 1 thinks differently. The first author thinks that the guidelines are not working and the students still aren't getting healthy foods. For example, the author of Article 1 says, I know that many schools are struggling to meet these guidelines, but they have to do better than this. The fact that the first author is still seeing these foods shows the second author is incorrect.
Okay, perfect. So now we're going to flow right into an conclusion, an introduction. Woo! Mercy, starting all over. Going into a conclusion. So what's a good transition word for conclusion?
All in all?
All in all. Okay. So all in all, and I like that one. Comma, good, Hadley. All in all, and I really like that one because it kind of speaks to synthesizing. Like, okay, wrap this up. What does all this mean? So Hadley, I like to ask kids this question. So what? So what? What is all this trying to say, Hadley, in your own words? What is all this trying to say?
That the guidelines have not been working.
Okay. Why? It's exactly what it says there.
Okay.
I know, it's hard.
Because they had, can I just say my points?
Okay, say your points and then we'll figure out how to say them differently.
Portions, because the portion sizes are too small, or are the same for everyone, and there are still non-healthy foods.
Okay, good. So hold on a second. An easy thing to do here is to look at the flip side. So he's saying the guidelines are unhealthy or not working because we still have the same portions and we still have unhealthy foods. So he could flip it. He could say, all in all, our schools need healthy foods and our schools need healthy foods in different portion sizes and they're not getting them. Do you see what I just did?
Changing it around.
I just changed it around. Did you see how sneaky that was? It's kind of
Sneaky.
So that's what you do. You think of ways to kind of restate what you're already saying, but in a new, inventive kind of way to pull it all together without boring your audience and making them cry. So all in all, what did I say? All in all, our
school. Okay,
you're not gonna write as fast as that. I'll write. You talk. Okay. Our schools need
more healthy food.
Need healthier,
foods
and
bigger portion sizes.
Bigger or just and different?
Different portion sizes.
All in all, our schools need healthier foods and different portion sizes.
Yes, for bigger people.
Blocking my groove here.
Sorry.
Portion sizes for students. I'll just put for students. We don't need to get into big details here. Okay. All in all, our schools need healthier foods and different portion sizes for students. Okay. So this is what we have been talking about through our paper. Now we need a strategy. You need strategy for things like call to action. Call to action means you're trying to get them to go do something, like, so go out now and do this, or, if you're trying to get them to action. Another would be to give them a question to ponder. Another would be to kind of tug at their heartstrings, okay? We call that an emotional appeal. An emotional appeal where you're trying to get them to side with you. So what strategy, and we can talk about a couple different ones if you want, but what strategy do you think would work well here? Do you want to?
Telling them to do something.
Okay, what do you want to tell them to do?
Like, if your schools are doing this, then talk to them and convince them that this is wrong.
Okay, so you could add, so all in all, our schools need healthier foods and different portion sizes for students.
Are your schools doing this? If they are, you can go and use these points to show them that this is wrong.
Okay, that would work. Okay, you could say, if your school is doing this, take them these points and show them that we deserve better, or that we need to follow different guidelines, or whatever it is. That would be a call to action. So one way you could end it would be with a call to action. What if you wanted to do an emotional appeal? How would you appeal to the emotions of the reader and make their heartstrings pull?
Some people have been heartbroken by coming home and not having enough food. Do you want this to happen?
Do you want kids coming home from school hungry? Ah! My heart! Does your heart hurt? See? He's devastated. I don't know if he's going to be okay. Okay, it's okay, Hadley. Come back now, baby. It's okay. See? It works. So you could say, all in all, our schools need healthier foods and different portion sizes for students. We cannot have students coming home from school hungry. We cannot have students who are not focused in class and don't even have the energy to play on the playground. We must have healthier foods.
Yes.
Oh, now I just kind of combined the two. Did you see that? Did you see that? I combined the two because I did the emotional appeal and then I followed the very last sentence with, we cannot have this. This must be changed, right? I'm calling people to action. You get it? So you have a sentence or two. There's this weird glare going on.
Glare. I like this.
Yeah, well, now it's not doing it because.
Wait, yeah, you can. It blocks it out.
Anyway, a sentence or two that synthesizes what you talked about, brings it all together, and then a sentence or two or three where you are strategizing, okay? So I encourage you to focus on those two things, emotional appeal and call to action. There are lots of concluding strategies. If you'd like to see more, then just leave a comment on this video and I will start teaching. I can do a whole session on just conclusion strategies that you can use. I can email you a list. If you're a teacher, a parent, student, and you want to have a whole list just in your toolkit, I have a document I can send you. So just send me an email at getawritingtoolkit@gmail.com and I'll get that over to you. But what you need to do now?
I'll have a conclusion to yours. If you want this, do you want your conclusion to be strong? Do you want to get extra points? Do you want to fail? If you want the right